Hi class, so today we're going to clean up our code a little bit, put some comments in, and then add the rest of our button functionality. So first thing I'd like to do is that I've looked at, I have a couple buttons with the same ID, which they shouldn't be. This should not be a button plus, this should be button minus. This is in our HTML. This should be button equal. That does nothing for the functionality, but it will help us later when we are making our calculator prettier, possibly help us later. In our JavaScript, I really want to label each section. So global variables, these are the variables that exist throughout the whole program, and I think we only have global variables in this program. That's fine. You should try to keep your global variables to a minimum, but 3 is not too many. This is our current number on the calculator display. And we are writing these comments not for us right now, but for us in the future, or for somebody else who might look at this code, just to say what are these things, and they get their answer right away rather than having to comb through the code. If you make your variable names descriptive, that helps as well. This is our two-number math operation, and this is the off-screen number in a two-number operation. And then we need to comment each of our functions, which I had not done yet. It's okay to work ahead a little bit and then go back and comment, but you do have to comment before too long. There's no real input here. This is adds the decimal to our real number. Let me come down. We can delete these. Looks good. Operation pressed. That has an input. That is the operation that we will perform on two numbers after an equal or another operation. After an equal or another operation is pressed. Output resets the display in memory. Now it performs the current operation. Yeah, that's a zeros are stored number and erases the current operation. Equal pressed. And actually, you know what? Yeah, no, that's fine. So equal pressed is the last one we got to do. Doesn't have it. It performs the current operation, zeros and stores and erases the current operation. Now, in this code, this is redundant. This is happening for every operator that we are trying. So I'm going to put that after the if statements. And I can delete it out of the if statements. So now we're saying if we're doing a plus, add the numbers. If we're doing a minus, subtract the numbers. Then for every time we press the equal, the stored number is 0, the current operation is nothing, and we, ooh, that could be a problem. Let's just test something. So if I do 7 plus 9 equals plus equals, okay, no, oh, I don't think I've refreshed it. Let's see if that 7 plus 9 equals, and then if I hit equals again, yeah, it's okay. Although, I think on a regular calculator, when you hit plus a bunch of times, let me test this. I think on the regular calculator, if I do like 8 plus 3 equals, and then if I keep pressing equals, it keeps adding 3. So maybe we don't even want to erase. Yeah, ours is not going to do that right now. Let's stay on track with what we were planning on doing. So I'm going to add the multiply and divide buttons real quick. There's so much you can do, and there's a point where you're going to say, we've done enough. So I'm going to say times, I'm going to say divide, and then operation pressed, I'll put a times button. Now the divide is the slash is a weird one, so I'm just going to write div. You can put whatever strings you want in there. And then it really is this simple to add some of our functions. Let's do the operation that we're asked to do. And then we don't want these to all be called minus, so this would be called button times, or button multiply, button divide. So now we have multiply, divide, and you can go on. Times 8 equals divided by 9 equals negative infinity. That doesn't look right. Let me see what do we do wrong there. So I put the times here and divide by here. We're always adding the string. That's why you test as you go. Go a little too fast. So 7 times 7 is 49 divided by 2 plus 0.5. And it's looking nice. So now we can go to our math library, and I'm just on W3 Schools. I just searched up JavaScript math, and we've got all of these math things that are built in for us. These are a lot of these are what we're going to use. And there's logarithms, there's trigonometry, there's random, we'll start with just pi. And this one actually, this is my second take on this, because pi is actually more complicated than, everything's more complicated than you would think. So let's explore this. And all of these are going to have potential unique things that need to be done. I was trying to call them under an overall. If we can do an operation press, you'll see some of them will be able to do operation press, but this one we're going to do is operation pi. I'm going to call it pi and label the button. Oh, sorry, operation pi doesn't need to take any arguments. Actually, you know what? I'm going to call it operation constant. I'm going to pass in. No, there's not enough constants. I'll just call it operation pi. There's so many ways you can go with this. And then we're going to go into our JavaScript, and I'm going to say function pi, function operation pi, and so operation pi sounds like a code name. What that does is it puts our display number to pi. And So I was playing with a regular calculator. And if you do 5 plus pi, pi, it's not clearing anything out. So we actually want to just make the display number pi. Now, if we have 5 and then we type pi, that one's multiplying. We're not going to do multiply. We're just going to, we could. Okay, we could if that's how calculators handle pi. Or we could just replace the number. I'm actually thinking I'd rather just replace the number. But all we have to do is we can say our current number equals math dot pi. And then plus, because our current number is a string. And then we want to display the current number. And in this case, we're not messing with our stored number. We're not messing with the added number. If we have a current number, we could also say current number equals, let's see how this feels. So first off, this is how this feels. And it's your design of your calculator. So if I say 6 plus pi equals 9 pi, or 9,141. If I do 4 pi, yeah, I think I would like it to multiply there. So I can say, okay, we have a current number. So we're going to do parse float the current number times math.pi. If our current number is 0, we replace it. We'll go back to pi. And we are going to use the else statement here. Else means if it's not 0, we're going to multiply it. So pi actually was a little trickier than one would think. So 7 pi gives us 7 times pi. That works. Let's look at the next one. And you can do that, I would say, if you have e or any other constants, you can use that. Now, math.round, these are some easier ones. Math.round, anything that takes a single number. Math.pow, that's going to be math.square root, math.abs. Okay, so we're going to, math.pow is the same thing as math.add. So we'll do that one first. And since it's the same thing as adding, we're going to come up to the button divide. And anytime we can reuse the code, we're going to. So we'll call this button pow. Operation press, we'll call it pow. We're just going to do that little shift 6, the little up caret. And so then when we come here, and power, it's doing the same thing that we've been doing for these. And all we have to do, let's say if the current operation is power, I think I said pow, then it says xy, so 8,2 would be 64, so it's the stored number to the current number power. So I'm going to say, let's get rid of this, and say math.pow stored number, comma, parse float the current number. And then we do, and you see we have two, open parenthesis 1, open parenthesis 2, close parenthesis 1, close parenthesis 2, just like in a math class, plus quote, quote. And now our power button should work. So I'll do 2 to the 5th. You should know what 2 to the 5th is. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And we get 32. And then if I do pi, 32 pi is 100 and something. So we got those buttons working. The last thing that we really need to try is, our single operation, like round and absolute value and square root. They're all going to be similar. So we're going to make a function that those all call. So I'm going to put square root near the exponent just because I think that would be a good place for it. SQRT. Operation single SQRT. And I'm going to do the button SQRT right now. On the next lesson, I'll show you how you can, in HTML, just put a square root symbol and a pi symbol if you just want single character symbols. You can put really whatever you want. That's all for later. So we don't have operation single yet, but we do now have our square root button. So if we do 9999, square root doesn't do anything because we haven't written operation single. And this is going to be the last thing we do. I think this video is already going a little long. Function operation single, the operator. And this is going to do a single operation on our display number. It's going to, I think, leave everything. Yeah, it's going to leave the plus in place. It's going to leave the stored number in place. So if we're doing something else, so we can say like 6.3 plus 9.9 round, it will round 9.9, and then you can still add the 6.3. So we want to leave a few things alone. So puts our display number to current operation. So this is going to act on something. So we're going to say if OP is equal to, and I think we were doing round. What were we doing? I don't think we were doing round. We were doing square root. Going square root. We just say it's very similar to pi, except that we're not checking if the number is 0. So if the operation is square root, we're going to say the current number equals parse float current number, not.pi. And you know what, pi actually almost could fit in here, but pi is doing that multiply thing. So that's what square root's going to do. So if I say clear for square root, I haven't refreshed, for square root, oh, it gives us, that's because I'm multiplying pi. If it's square root, we want to parse float the current number, or we do math.sqrt. I think that was what it was. I will check W3 schools for our math operation. Yep, it's math.sqrt and the number. Math square root, the number. Refresh again. 4 square root is 2. Square root again. Beautiful. And you can just keep hitting square root just like in a traditional calculator. And if we do 5 times 9 square root, 5 times 3, it should equal 15. And it does. So that's nice. Last piece, I'll just do one more of the single, do math.abs. Oh, we're going to do two more things, sorry. Actually, I'll do math.sign, which is, we'll find the sign of a number. They all work the same, and I'm just going to demonstrate how they all work the same. So, and your trigonometry buttons, if you put them all together, that would make sense because that's how calculators work. We do operation single. We'll put SIN in there, and this is button sign. So class button, button sign, operation single sign, and we'll say SIN. Here, it's really just, if it's sign, then we're doing math.sign, and it will give us the sign. We're not going to do radians and degrees here. That's additional stuff, which goes beyond the amount of work I'd like us to do on this calculator. So 5, the sign button, and it gives us negative 9.589. And if we look at sign, we are following the rules that the library follows. It's given, we're working in radians always. we're not going to work in degrees. You'd have to do a math function to work in degrees, which is not terribly difficult, but it even shows it to you here. But we're going to just do it in radians. So, and you can add more if statements here for all of these single operation functions. There's one more thing that I was thinking I wanted to add. Random. Just because random we would do just like pi, but it's going to replace our current number. So, and actually, can we do that here? Oh, we can actually do that right here. So let's try math.random, and then each one that you do, you're going to have to think like, is this like another button? If it is, then use the function that button's doing. So we're just going to call it rand. Come to the JavaScript. If p is equal to rand, yeah, because we're affecting, yeah, this is exactly how random would work. Now what it's going to do though is it's just going to erase our current number. That's all you can do. If you have a stored number, it's going to not erase the stored number. So random just give us random numbers. If we wanted to, now you know what? I think it might feel better. You don't have to do this because this is, we're going to multiply it by our current number. Let's see how that feels. There's no right or wrong here. Most calculators, I don't think there's a precedence. So for random, it multiplied the random number. Oh, but then it's going to, no, I like it. So math.random gives you a number between 0 and 1, not including 1. So if we're doing that, it's going to keep getting smaller, and I think that feels worse. I think just yeah, just random just is going to erase whatever was there. I think that feels good. You can go and work through a few more math operations, and that's going to be required for your lesson. I'm not going to do all of them. Don't do max and min because that's a list of numbers. We're not dealing with a list of numbers here. But I would like you to try a couple of other math functions, and thank you for your time.